Hello everybody, welcome to another 4WC match. Right now in this stream we do have Indonesia versus Germany. Indonesia seeding 10th whereas Germany did seed 17th. And today I am joined by the wonderful Mabushik. How are you doing today?
Hello, doing pretty well. Looking into a really interesting match today. Indonesia, Germany, two teams still fighting for a place in the upper bracket. Australia in this group, incredibly well, 3-0, so that's decided already, but we still have two teams fighting for the second place in the upper bracket, and this time, as you said, it's gonna be Germany, Indonesia, pretty close battle seeding wise. Indonesia on paper should be better, especially once they are not pulling off the blank tap 3 days no sleep gambit like they did against Australia. But yeah, looking at the seeding, looking at the stats, this match is gonna be really interesting with the players we have in our hands. What do you think?
Yep, definitely going to be quite a bit of an interesting match, as you did mention. It is a battle for the second place in Group A, as Australia has already gone 3-0, beating all three teams in that group, or all three other teams in that group. And Indonesia really do want to get this win on the board up against Germany, who did seed 17th, but Germany, despite getting that seed, they are a very scary team, and they are definitely a team that can punch above their weight. On the side of Indonesia, you have such insane names that you might have never expected to play a 4WC. Someone like Skydiver, I think peaked top 50 at one point. And you also have other incredible players. You have Fumo, 2HD, you have Bryant, you have Blank Tab, Maccabea, Majora McQueen, and that noob guy. I think quite a few of those have previously played on OWC as well. So yeah, definitely quite scary to look at. And then for the side of Joan, you have Stella, Lion, Chocolate, Mankichiro, Martin Yukna, who I think that is most likely a name change, so I could be wrong, Minoji, Lydia, and Zigaret, who is, I think, Shrek. Yes, he's already reverted his name back. But yeah, getting to the picks and bans phases, I honestly expect Indonesia to potentially ban into mechanics here, as Germany is a roster that is better off at mechanics. What do you think, Mabushik?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the qualifiers, looking at the team rosters, no mod 2, DT2, stuff like that will be probably something that Indonesia might be looking at into as their bans, but first ban goes to Germany, so the question is, will they ban there? Maybe something more technical like no mod 4, even though it is the original map, unfortunately hidden 3. Something at that matter, I'd say.
I think Germany, they might even opt into something like a non-mod 1 ban. I think that is something that is possible. I don't know if it's necessarily their best ban, but something like non-mod 4 is also not too much of a bad ban for them. Or maybe even something in the... Honestly, maybe non-mod 3 as well. Non-mod 4, non-mod 3. Non-mod 5, I don't think they will ban, but again, this is a match where I think both of the gimmick maps, number 5 and Hidden 2, neither of them will be banned. They'll be more so floated on for the later stages of the map, of the match. Since both teams, I'd say, are fairly even in general on more gimmick style maps, on these OAR maps. Though I do think Free Mod 2 could definitely come in as a pick in general. But Germany opting for the No Mod 2 ban, which I didn't expect at all. I thought Germany would have actually wanted to pick into this, but not feeling comfortable on this number 2, which I guess makes sense. It being 240 BPM, having I think up to 30 BPM, 30 note streams, so definitely a bit more focus on that tapping, and Germany, who I guess you'd expect to prevail a bit more than the tapping, not wanting to go into it, which is just fine. Indonesia going for that Hard Rock 3 ban, no one needs to play any sort of Hard Rock, which again, that does make a bit more sense, I would say. Germany very strong at Hard Rock in general.
Yeah, HR3 ban definitely makes sense. And 3 mod 2 ban being the second of 2009 map not being played today, or at least in this match. Two interesting bans kinda do make sense. You have that 3 mod 2, more of a gimmicky map. You need one HR, you need one hidden or easy on it. might be difficult for those players. HR3, as you said, Germany is pretty strong on HR, so that ban makes sense. Even Turkey banned that against them, so I see that. Now the question is, what will the second German ban be? We did see them ban Hidden 2 DT3 against Australia, and then DT2, no mod 5 Hidden 2 against Turkey, so they really altered their bans based on what team they are playing, so I'm not really sure what they'll opt for here, to be fair.
I would like to say the most likely ban here is Hidden 2. I think Indonesia... Actually, I don't know. Because considering they have already banned this Hidden 2 in the past. But then again, Indonesia did ban that free mode 2, so it's kind of like... I honestly didn't expect that free mode 2 ban coming in from the side of Indonesia, being a team who is very, very strong in general at maps similar to that free mode 2. So, kind of leaves that second ban up in the air for the side of Indonesia. Oh, not Indonesia, sorry, I mean Germany. It's... Considering the other ban was number 2, does it honestly opt into ban the other tapping map? It's something that I guess isn't as what I expected coming into this match. But given again what the qualifiers maps were compared to what the maps are in this pool, could have some difference in like comfort on for both of these teams. So I guess maybe we could see that DT2 being banned, though it would be a bit unexpected. And yeah, we do see that DT2 ban coming in. So honestly, what I thought would happen just got completely flipped on its head. I thought Germany would pick into this, but instead they do opt to ban it. But it is now time for Indonesia to pick. And what are your predictions for this pick for the side of Indonesia, Mavashik?
Well, my predictions have been completely decomposed by this bans from Germany. No mod 2 DT2 did not expect. Now Indonesia with those two tapping bans. I'm not sure. Maybe looking at no mod 2 ban, DT2 ban, maybe trying into that free mod 1, which is somewhat also a tapping map, even though it's 180 BPM and mostly heavy on that flow aim. You could maybe see those no mod 2 DT2 bans and look into that. Maybe double time 1, trying to hit Germany with those 270 BPM bursts. Maybe that's kind of out of their comfort zone. That's why they are banning the high BPM tapping maps right now. But really, I'm not so sure after we have seen these bans from both of the teams, really.
Yeah, I see the DT1 being a potential pick for the side of Indonesia here. Trying to, again, offset Germany on the bit of tapping that there is there, and also they did seed very, very high on this DT1 in the qualifiers as well. I believe they did seed 4th on the DT1, so not a bad pick for them, but they do opt for the Hidden 3, which, okay, I like this pick. Indonesia historically strong at Hidden overall, and also this is a bit more like Hidden and flow, a little bit of flow aim and a bit of tech. So Indonesia should fare in pretty well on this, as they did seed pretty strongly on the Node 4 in qualifiers, seeing 8th. So I think a pretty solid pick overall, opting into that Hidden and the flow aim, because again, Indonesia was pretty strong on Hidden overall in the qualifiers as well, so adding that Hidden and the tech should be a pretty good combination for them.
Oh yeah, this map definitely, at least on paper, should favor Indonesia, even though they did fall short on it against Australia in their first match. This is a completely different match, so it go the other way again. As I said, they were a bit debuffed by tired players, but that is not really an excuse to lose a match. But now I believe they are a bit more ready for it, and yes, you said, pretty good pick for Indonesia, this Hidden 3. I do indeed like it. The map is fun as well. It's around 165 BPM alt, as you said. It is pretty fast paced with that 165 BPM, so stay sharp for that. But overall, yeah, pretty good pick for Indonesia, at least on paper. We'll see how it resembles in match. But yeah, a bit on the shorter side as Maple, 2 minutes 19 seconds of drain time, as I said, 165 BPM, CS4, AR 9.8, OD9, so pretty comfortable stats, I'd say. It's just a question of who can play it better, really. Looking at rosters, we see Maka, Fuma, Bukator, Twee for Indonesia, Lion, Stella, Menergy, and Xeldadia for Germany, and I think they will be locked in like that, and we are just waiting for them to ready up as we start this first map of this matchup.
Yep, I think these are pretty solid rosters for both of these teams. I don't really think there are any necessary surprises on either of these rosters. And this map sitting at AO 9.8 is a bit higher than you would honestly expect for a Hidden 3. Actually, at this SR, you would maybe expect it to be like AO 9.4 or AO 9.5, but this AO 9.8 might even make it a little more comfortable for these players. Since, I mean, it kind of just depends of the style of play you are. If you're very comfortable in Hidden, then it won't matter too much, but if you're not that comfortable, this AO 9.8 will definitely be a help. But yeah, getting into the start of this map now, the first map of this matchup, this Hidden 3. And early doors, will we find any breaks coming in? So far, it's looking pretty good for both of these teams. Not really any major accuracy drops, no combo drops, but it is the intersection. But I do say that Stella does find a very early break, which shouldn't matter too much in the long run, but we do get into the first break, and that break has been traded by Maka. So early doors, completely even.
With the trade from Maka, the lead will stay on Indonesia's side by a tiny bit due to the accuracy lead, and another trade from Stella. So those two FCs are down. Lydia will join Stella on the breaks, but that gets traded by Fuma. So now we are looking at 2 FCs against 2 FCs with barely any support score from Stella, Maka, or Lydia with Fuma. And it's a question of whoever can hold their FC better. We still need double S, not anymore on Bukator. But that doesn't matter as Indonesia still holding on to their 30,000 point lead. Lion goes down, that's another FC down for Germany together with Stella. So support from that side is down. Maka does trade the support, but that FC from Lion will hurt on Germany's side halfway into the map as well.
Yeah, halfway through it is looking pretty good for the side of Indonesia, but a complete disaster happens. It's only Fuma holding on to any sort of combo, whilst Minoji and Lydia are holding on to very solid combos to the side of Germany now. Fuma really needs to hold on to this combo. He was finding some difficulties very early on, but as long as he can hold on to this combo in the second half, and we see a couple of breaks coming from Germany, maybe it can still go to the side of Indonesia, but Germany looks so comfortable. As I said, that Lydia does find a break. It is just Minoji holding on to his FC right now. It is very, very close to 130,000 points. It could still flip over to Indonesia if we see a break coming from Minoji, but it might be too late now. Minoji holding on to his FC, hitting the final bit of flow aim, and carrying the score further and further in Germany's favor, and Germany breakpointing Indonesia very, very early on this Hidden 3. Minoji just missing at the end, but doing more than enough for their team. And that map could have gone either way, but right at the end, right after the, I guess, going into the second half of the map, we just saw the complete fall apart coming in from the side of Indonesia. I believe it was 3 breaks on the same section, which just unfortunately killed all of their combo and allowed Germany to just accelerate the lead further.
As you said, one pattern that killed Indonesia's score on this one. Really, I feel like if they could hold something throughout, even if they dropped after, it might have been on Indonesia's side, but unfortunately they will be dropping their first breakpoint early into the match, which is probably the best place for breakpoint to occur, especially on a best of 9. But generally, you definitely do not want to give out breakpoints like that. It was a close map, but for a first pick, I don't know. It felt a bit shaky for a first pick for Indonesia, and as a result, they did drop that breakpoint. Now Germany, the next one to pick, and really, I know I'm still stunned by those tapping bans, because now I'm not really sure what Germany is gonna pick into, as I expected them to go into those 2 maps as their first, second pick, or Indonesia bans, but now I'm not sure really.
It's kind of puts everything up in the air. We did see Germany play the DT1 up against Turkey, and we did get a 3.3 million team score. So you could potentially see them trying to opt into this DT1, but it is, I'd say, a bit more risky. And I honestly don't know. It is really difficult to call, because we did also see them almost 4-waying this No Mod 2, yet they did still decide to ban it. But they opt for the No Mod 1, the 238 BPM aim map, which, if you do base it just off of, let's say, your qualifier results, it doesn't make sense, considering how much higher Indonesia did seed on the No Mod 1. But again, it's a completely different style of map. It's way higher BPM. It's also a shorter map, which might play into the hands of Germany a little bit more. But quite an interesting first pick from Germany, honestly. This Nord 1.
Yeah, definitely an interesting pick, as you said on paper. It should favor Indonesia, but looking at how this group stage is going, qualifier stats mean absolutely nothing. We have seen way too many upsets for that to be any valid. But yeah, as you said, the map is a bit shorter, but with that 238 BPM, I'd say it might be more drainy than the one we have seen in qualifiers, even though it's shorter. It is mostly aim, as Nomad 1 should be, really, so no special stuff happening on that slot. It's just 3 minutes of aim. It's pretty... I'd call it a nightmare for single tappers, because single tapping 238 BPM jumps must be straining if someone's doing that.
Yeah, I don't see your point of it being a bit more strainy, considering, even though it is, like, shorter in general, because of just the style of map it is in general. So, definitely valid point to be made there. It is also a pretty old map, old in quotation marks. Compared to 3.2, it's not really that old, but this was actually first mapped in 2015, but loved in 2018. It's a pretty old map. It's, even if it doesn't have that much play count, sitting at only 500,000, it is a map that I feel a lot of people should be familiar with. And we do have the rosters finalized for this map. I believe you have Bryant, Danube Guy, Maccabea, Blank Tap for the side of Indonesia, and for Germany you have Stella, Minoji, Lion, and Chocolate. So it should be a fairly interesting map, and considering, I mean, qualifier results mean nothing at this point, considering how much the pool has changed. For example, something like the DT3 is a completely different style of map, so whatever plays into that comfort more today is what they will pick. So yeah, let's see how this will go. Getting into this Node 1 now. Early doors, will we find any early misses? This is a map that is fairly consistent in its difficulty, though during its KI times you do of course have a couple more diff spikes. But yeah, let's see how this does go.
Does indeed stay consistent most of the time, as you said. Some diff spikes on KI, but outside of that, you need to stay sharp throughout the whole map. There is no such thing as easier part, harder part, outside of maybe this intro section. But now, once we get into this tiny jumps, Minoji finding the first drop for Germany's side, giving the slightest lead to Indonesia, which can slowly but surely build up. It's not that much combo, it's really early into the map, but they could build something of it, and even the slightest lead could help them, as we have seen on that hidden tree. Anything can happen in this match. We see Maka finding a miss on the bigger jumps now. 1FC against 1FC. Better support coming in for Germany now, as the score will start shifting towards their side, but not too fast, as we are still pretty early into the map. And we see some incredibly good accuracies on the left side, same as on the right side though, so it's still not decided. It's still the question of whoever misses first or whoever drops more accuracy first, so we're just waiting for anything big to happen still.
Yeah, both teams do have very similar accuracy, and early doors it is extremely even. Both teams on very similar combo, only finding one break each. Getting into the next KI time, will we find any significant drops? Minoji finds a break on that recovery, and it was a pretty major recovery, sitting at over 400 combo. But what you want to see is if there'll be any breaks on these FCs. But no one really seems to let off that. And you guys see on the SS with Chocolate finding a break for the side of Germany, so it's 3 FCs up against 2, and a very solid recovery on the side of Maka. So it is looking very good for the side of Indonesia here. That Noob guy did unfortunately drop their SS now, but regardless, only 100 so far. It is a map where you should see higher accuracies in general one, but regardless, just holding on to an SS for any amount of time is very impressive in the tournament. And we have a little bit more of a slow section here, a little bit of a chance for Indonesia to slowly increase their lead. It's racing at 240,000 points, and soon we will be going into the final quarter of this map.
The draw from Chocolate definitely giving a lot of space to Indonesia to run away with their score, especially with them still holding on to their 3 FCs now too, as that Noob guy finds a miss, but Lion does as well, and Stella goes down. That's a full FC. Reset from Germany. That noob, guys, finds a miss together with Blank there, but Bryant is still holding on to that full combo. And with how much map is left in this no mod 1, I don't think there's any chance for Germany to take this lead back, and we will see back-to-back breakpoints with Bryant holding on to that 99.7% FC, 3.2 million team score, and this, I feel like you could call this a mispick from Germany with that lead on Indonesia's side.
Yeah, definitely could be considered a mispick, but then again, this team score from Indonesia is absolutely insane. Your lowest score is 700,000 points. And on Germany, you do also have those 2 S ranks from Manoj and Chocolate, which if they didn't find those cider breaks, could have made this a lot closer and would have flipped this to the side of Indonesia or of Germany. But yeah, unfortunately, those cider breaks did happen, and Indonesia did breakpoint, so it is completely even. We see back-to-back breakpoints, as you did mention, which is always great to see, and it does really spell what this match could turn out to be. And now it is back to Indonesia to try and... I guess it's consolidating a breakpoint, but it's not really leading into any advantage, as both of them did get those early breakpoints. But you might want to opt into, despite losing that hidden 3, you might want to opt into something like the Nomad 4. I feel that is a pretty good pick if you are Indonesia. Or even free mod 1. I think that's another thing that Indonesia might do pretty well on.
Yeah, that could be the case. If I wanted to go off stats, maybe I'm looking at that hidden 2 possibly. I did not see that map played live yet, so I would love to see that one by qualifier stats. They should be better on it, but qualifiers don't matter at all in this group stage. As I said again, as you said, no mod 4 would make sense as well. So it's really a question of comfort and what they feel confident on. Especially after that hidden 3 breakpoint. I really don't know. This is hidden 1. Okay.
This makes sense. Indonesia is a team that is historically really strong at hidden in 4WCE in general. If you go back to 2022, one of the main reasons they were able to upset Brazil, who did seed second in that year, was based off of hidden. Hidden and the more gimmick style maps that were in the pool. They were able to just really pull through on those maps, which did allow them to upset Brazil. I think it was 6-4 in the end. So definitely something to keep a look out for. So I do like this pick, but then again, you're also going back 4 years with that, but Indonesia is also a country where you do have quite a few players from that roster still in here. So I do like this pick though, and I think a player that will definitely be a standout on this should be someone like Fuma.
Definitely.
And 3HD.
Makes sense for Indonesia here. This map, you basically have your awkward aim hidden 1. There are some ugly sliders here and there, which we have seen some misses on. Plus, you have that jump scare fast part right at the beginning of the map, followed up by a slightly slower build-up part to the actual map start. But outside of that, the map is running for a good 4 minutes and 30 seconds of drain time, so the second longest map in this map will right after Jashin, which is banned, so the longest map you could have picked in this matchup. And yeah, as you said, Indonesia being incredibly strong on hidden throughout 4WC overall, definitely a pick that makes sense, even though they did find themselves short on that hidden 3. This hidden 1 is more on that consistency awkward aim side, and they did get a point on that normal 1, so that could have also given them the signal to, yeah, let's try hidden 1 now, as this could work pretty well in our favor. Fuma 3, Makabe and Blank Tap in for Indonesia, Lydia, Menoji, Lion and Stella for Germany, trying to fight this pick of Indonesia's side. So let's see how that goes. It is a long map, so early breaks should not matter too much, and we are looking a lot on accuracy really, and some big combo chunks here and there. But yeah, starting off the map.
Yeah, this map, early combos can honestly matter. Like, early breaks, this is a map where it only really starts to pick up in a lot in the second third. You have a very tricky side jump section about 66% of the way through the map, so literally just 2/3 of the way through the map. I remember playtesting this and seeing that, for me, the main difficult part was after the second third of the map. So let's see if any players are able to hold on up until that mark, and I feel it will be who can hold through past that mark. But early doors, we do see 3HD and Lion both trading breaks, which might potentially matter, but again, it is a very long map, quite a lot of combo to be built up. So yeah, you just want to hold on to as much combo as possible in the first half of this map before the map really starts intensifying.
That's definitely the case. This slower but not that simple part of the map, not finding anyone off guard just now. But these patterns, even though they don't seem that difficult, they are on the slower side. They are pretty uncomfortable, and we can see that on 3HD finding another break together with Blank Tab and Lydia. So 2 breaks traded for 1, but Minoji joins them, and now suddenly it's a 1 and almost an FC against 2 FCs on Indonesia's side, but Germany is taking the lead with their accuracy right now.
Yes, Germany with a very slight accuracy lead. It is extremely minor though, as you do have both Fuma and Maka on extremely high accuracy FCs. They are the only 2 FCs though. And it is 2 FCs up against pretty much 2 FCs. You have Lion on that very strong recovery, who I think he broke 50 combo in, but no, he fights a break! And that really does sway the things in the score in the favor of Indonesia. Having that extra FC and just having stronger recoveries in general will really allow them to repel their lead. And Stella really needs to hold on to her combo. Otherwise, it will really spell disaster for Germany. We're getting soon into one of the harder sections of the map, but Minoji does find a break. Finding a couple breaks on the side as Lion finds another break, but Fuma and Maka are holding on very, very strong with actually the exact same accuracy. Later finding some more repeated breaks, so Maka does find a break, and this is a chance that Germany really needed. Fuma and Black Tap break, and Stella breaks as well. It is a full combo reset. It is only Twee holding on to any sort of recovery combo now. And it is completely down to them to hold on to keep the score in the favor of Indonesia.
With that combo from Twee after that full reset, it is gonna be difficult for Germany to find a way back, but Twee finding an unfortunate slider break. That might be tragic. They still have some combos from Blank Tap, Fuma and Maka, but the combos on Germany are now higher. And if they can hold and see some unfortunate misses from Indonesia again, it might cause a disaster to Indonesia, but Minoji with Stella and Lydia finding those misses. It's only Lion with combo against 3 big combos on Indonesia's side. Fuma goes down, traded by Lydia. Stella goes down, and there's no support for Lion on Germany's side as the score goes more and more to the left side, the side of Indonesia with Blank Tap. Maka now holding on to around 500 recovery combos, both 1/4 of the map left. It's still not lost, but they need to see huge breaks from Indonesia for the chance to be there, and I believe with that Lion 500 combo break, there might not even be a chance anymore for Germany to come back on this 200,000 points in favor of Indonesia. And the only big combo, and actually the 2 only big combos are now on Indonesia's side, on Blank Tab and Maka, who are pulling this more and more to the side of Team Indonesia and not letting go at all.
Yes, Indonesia really coming in clutch at the end with Blank Tap and Maka. Blank Tap does find a break right at the end, but it will not matter at all, as they were able to build up a very, very strong lead. Germany finding there's a couple of very unfortunate breaks towards the final third of the map, which really set the score in stone for Indonesia and allowed them to truly propel their score lead further and further. 3HD also closing out with a very, very solid combo, but Maka at the 1000 combo mark and finding a side break on the final note, but it is fine. And yep, that is a point for Indonesia, so no back-to-back breakpoints now. No back-to-back-to-back breakpoints, I should say. Maka actually on the S rank, so only finding a side break, I think, on that slider section 2/3 of the way into the map, which is what I mentioned at the start of the map. It's where the map really, really starts to pick up, but doing more than enough to bring the point home. And yeah, very, very good pick for the side of Indonesia, going into that strength on the consistency, which ended up panning out very, very well for them. But it is now time for Germany to pick, and if you're Germany here, what would you necessarily go for? You could potentially look into something like the No Mod 4? I mean, again, that's something Indonesia's very strong one, but you did also put up very strong scores in your previous match on this. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You could also try the Hard Rock 2, which does have some very, very awkward patterns and a lot of repeating patterns. So we will see what they do end up opting for.
Definitely a somewhat of tough choice for Germany. They have a lot of maps on the board, but looking at some of these, a lot of them could end up in a 50-50 like we have seen on that hidden 3. Indonesia is not necessarily bad at any of No Mod 3, No Mod 4, even though Germany did pull off some great scores there. It's tough on double time 3s, Quabble up picked by Team Germany, which is one of those more standout maps in this map pool. With its style, it's a lot of wiggles, a lot of snappy alt patterns with those almost 1-2s. I have no clue how to call them after watching this pool so many times. I don't know, the map is just something else, I'd say.
It's quite a tricky DT3. It's a DT map. It is quite different to what we did see in qualifiers. The one in qualifiers was, I guess, a bit more finger control focus more than anything. And it was also AR 10.3, and this map is only AR 10, which it seems like a pretty small difference. So once you get to that AR, just even a 0.1 AR difference does make a significant difference to how comfortable a map is for a lot of these players. Whereas when you're on AR 10.3, you might have only 4 players that are comfortable in this, but on AR 10 you might have 6 players who are comfortable in this. So you will probably also see a difference in rosters compared to what we did see in the qualifiers, given the different nature of the map, the different AR, which will definitely play a part in this. But I do like this pick for Germany. I do think it's a pretty solid pick for them overall. Despite them, they seeded 21st on this in qualifiers. But then again, Indonesia did seed, I believe, slightly higher than them, 17th on this map. But again, very different style of map, so that's why I do like this pick for the side of Germany. And they have, overall in past 4WCs, and if you go to like OWC, they're a team that are quite strong on the DT pool in general, on I guess more awkward style of maps as well. So we will see how this does go for them.
Indeed, we see the core trio of Team Germany with Stella, Lion, and Menochi, joined by Chocolate. That noob guy, Bukatador, Blank Tab, and Maka. For Indonesia, I believe that's locked in. I've seen them talk about update on the map, which I'm slightly afraid of due to Bancho liking to be funny with map updates. But hopefully we can see the gameplay once they ready up and start the map.
Well, yeah, the map did get updated 3 hours ago, so hopefully we won't see any technical difficulties on this. But it should hopefully be fine. But yeah, not really any real surprises on any of these rosters. I think both of these rosters do have 4 very solid players on this type of map. So yeah, getting into this DT3 now, the DT map that you did mention. I think we might see quite a few players struggling for XC on this map, considering just the nature of the map. But we do have Alidor's Bouquet holding on to that SS, which holding on to an SS on this map is really difficult for even any amount of time. We do see Chocolate finding the first break for the side of Germany alongside Stella, so Alidor's, it is a pretty okay advantage for the side of Indonesia.
The map being only 1 minute 40 seconds in drain time is definitely not helping Germany with this early breaks from Chocolate and Stella, especially with Indonesia still holding on to their 4 full combos with pretty nice accuracy, especially on Bukator with the 97. The accuracy is on side of Indonesia, I believe, by a little bit. Maka does find the first miss on Indonesia side, but Lion with Chocolate do trade it instantly. So now it's 1FC on Menochi and some support from Stella against Blank Tab and that noob guy on 2 FCs for Indonesia, holding that 120,000 point lead for their sideline. Finding yet another miss, not gonna help Team Germany whatsoever on this map. Maka finding the trade, but as long as those two big combos, those two FCs are intact for Team Indonesia, it's gonna be almost impossible for Germany to shift this back. 150k, it's still going to Indonesia's side, and they are not letting go whatsoever. You don't see many actors either. Chocolate Lion again uncomfortable on these flowy patterns, finding misses yet again. 270,000 points. And at this point of the map, I don't think there's anything Germany can do, and they will be dropping another breakpoint with potentially Blank Tab and that noob guy finishing off the map with a full combo. That's a really good performance from Indonesia.
Yep. Those two FCs on the side of Indonesia, Blank Tap and Danube, guys, you did mention, very, very strong. You also have that S rank on Bukidor. And Minoji also closing out an FC on the map, so special mention to them as well on the side of Team Germany. But yep, Germany again dropping a breakpoint, and it really did come down to those supporting combos who were unfortunately just not able to find any sort of major combo whilst Blank Tap. And I think it was it no, it was that new guy who were able to close out the FCs on the SDT3, which really did just allow Indonesia to take this point fairly comfortably, if anything. You had that early lead going for the side of Indonesia, and it really didn't change all throughout. But it is now time for Indonesia to pick, and now they have a chance to consolidate this breakpoint and fully bring the advantage in their favor, and they go for the hidden 2, which I think is a very excellent pick for them. They are a team who are pretty strong on any sort of gimmick, which is why I guess I was kind of surprised it did opt for the 3-2 ban, but then again, Germany did put up some very, very strong scores on this 3-2, so it does make sense not wanting to compete against those scores from Germany.
Interesting to see the Hidden 2 open, considering that Germany did ban Hidden 2 in both of their previous matches. Now leaving it open against a team like Indonesia, who actually did ban it against Australia too. So again, the bans on this match just don't make sense when you compare it to stats, but stats don't matter in this matchup. We see interesting picks, interesting scoreline right now. And yeah, Hidden 2, I've been waiting for this pick this whole group stage. It has been 2 weeks without it getting picked once, I believe. Or maybe like once. This map does not get any spotlight at all. And I'm not surprised. This map is difficult. It's Hidden 2. You have, let's say, mostly aim style map, but the low AR and, you know, it's just not gonna give you a good time if you're not comfortable with low AR hidden. This map is devious and it's very, very difficult for what it is.
It is indeed. It is very tricky. You did mention Indonesia banning this up against Australia, and I think if there is a team that you would ban this against in this group, it would definitely be Australia. Germany did ban this hidden 2 as well in their other 2 matches, so it is quite interesting that they did decide to leave it open and opt to ban both of the tappings instead. So I would potentially say this is slightly more favored to the side of Indonesia, especially when you have players like Fuma and 3HD on this team, and you also have some other great players like Maka and Bukito who can probably pull up some very solid scores on this hidden 2 as well. But then again, on the side of Germany, you do also have some fairly strong hidden 2 players, especially, I think, special mention to Stella, who is very, very strong on something like this. But, yeah, we will be getting into this hidden 2 now, and let's see if we'll find any early difficulties, because this map does already start kind of tricky. And early on, we do see 2HD and Chocolate finding breaks alongside Maka. So, clearly not a very comfortable map for either of these teams so far. At least early doors. It is something that we will see. I think it will mostly play down to the accuracy, the comfortability in this map. We see Lydia and Stella finding some more breaks, Chocolate finding some more breaks as well. So neither team really feeling comfortable on this map, as I did mention at the start.
This map just drawing miss after miss after miss after miss, not comfortable at all. Lion, Fuma and Bukator together with Tweedo fighting pretty well against this map, but the high intensity, the amount of combo on Indonesia just outperforming Germany is giving them a 100k lead pretty early into the map, with Lion and Chocolate trying to hold on to some combo, trying to hold on to something to slow down the shifting. But as long as we see those two FCs on Bukatador and Fuma, it's gonna be really, really difficult to do anything. Fuma with 98.17%, Lion with 98.8%. If one of those FCs goes down, the scoreline will shift quite a bit, but I don't know if that's gonna happen even. Both players look incredibly comfortable on this. Outside of that though, the support for Team Germany, especially Stella and Chocolate, are falling down every now and then, which is definitely not helping them at all. 3 finding a miss, which is gonna slow down things a bit, but Maka with a great support. Bukatador goes down though, giving some hope to Germany, but as of now, unless we see a miss from Fuma right about now, I don't think there's much Germany can do anymore. 3-way reset from Indonesia, but Fuma, the best score in the lobby, is still holding, and not the best score in the lobby actually, with Lion 800k, the second best score, but the score that Indonesia needs is still intact, and I don't think it's moving anywhere as we approach the end of the map.
Yeah, it's not going to move anywhere, and I think it really came down to the supporting players on Germany, Lion with the FC alongside Fuma, but despite Lion getting the top score, you just see the rest of the team really struggling on this map. Stella at 320k, unfortunately not being able to find any sort of combo in the map, which I get it. Sometimes it just happens. And Chocolate also kind of falling down in the accuracy department. So it really did come down to the supporting players, where on the side of Indonesia you have Mako with the lowest score at 390k, and then you have 2HD at 450k and Bukador at 650k. So you did have a lot more stronger supporting players on the side of Indonesia, which is what really allowed them to further accelerate this lead and take them to match point now. And it is now time for Germany to pick, and they really, really do need to get a point on the board. They really, really need that second point, no matter what. So I think we might see them opting in for something like the Hard Rock 2 here, to try and catch Indonesia a little off guard, since we didn't see a Hard Rock just yet, nor did we see anything lower CS. So, I mean, well, higher CS. So, I think Hard Rock 2 is the most likely pick here for Germany.
HR2 would definitely make the most sense here. Especially looking at the board. Never mind. We have been lied to. It's gonna be Nomad 3. I don't know, this map feels like a 50-50. We have seen Indonesia lose that hidden 3 years, but then they did pretty well in Squabble Up. And this Nomad 3 is somewhat of a combination of those two. You have those snap out patterns, you have some flow in it, and it is a I don't know, interesting map to pick into, especially in this 4-1 state. It is gonna be a custom by iMosca, thank you for that. It is a really good map. Being a custom as well. This snap old, you have those two rhythm funny patterns at the beginning of the map, one somewhere in the middle, which don't necessarily draw some misses, but they can drop your accuracy a little bit if you're not careful enough. But knowing these players, I think they are aware of those and know how to hit those. Outside of that, yeah, I don't know, Nomad 3 on paper, Hidden 3 was won by Germany, so technically that makes sense, but then you have that DT3 loss of them. And again, as you said, I don't know, I feel like that HR2 could have worked better, but if they are more comfortable on this, they will just opt into this and hopefully get their second point on the board.
Yeah, they really, really do need the second point on the board. And this number 3, as you mentioned, is a bit tricky. It's definitely not a map you want to sight read, as you do have, I guess, a little bit more interesting rhythms, a couple of stop-start ult patterns, and it is pretty aim-controlly in general. And it is, as you did mention, also a custom map by AJ Mosca, so thank you very, very much for mapping this number 3 for us in this group stage of the 4WC. But I think, again, it's not necessarily a pick I expected from Germany, but it is definitely something I can see them having a chance to win on. You did mention this being a bit more of a coin flip for the side of Germany. But yeah, we're already getting into this map. For the side of Indonesia, we have Maka, that noob guy, 2HD, and Blank Tab coming in. Whereas for the side of Germany, you have Stella, Meloji, Lion, and X3 Lydia. So very, very solid rosters overall for both of these teams. And let's see if we find any breaks early on. That noob guy finding a couple of difficulties. But this map does already have some kind of tricky patterns early on. But it does only pick up in difficulty as you get further and further into the map. But so far, it's looking pretty good for both of these teams. And these are the stop-start rhythms I was talking about just now. Will we see any breaks coming in on them? So far, it's looking pretty good. We see Meloji finding a break on the aim control, though. And it is a very slight combo lead early on for the side of Indonesia, but the accuracy is what really is helping Germany here. So on to 2 SSs, whereas Indonesia... Oh, 2HG finding a pretty not clean miss, finding a lot of accuracy drops alongside with that miss. And just look at the accuracy difference. It's just completely carrying Germany over right now.
Germany now with the combo as well, but line goes down, that gets traded by Maka, but Lydia goes down as well, so it's only 1 FC for Germany now. Stella goes down as well, and that's tragic for Team Germany now, as it's only Menochi on the combo. Blanktip does find the trade, so it's 1 combo and it's 1 combo, and that noob guy is holding that combo advantage, but not the accuracy advantage. And as you said, the accuracy is currently carrying Team Germany quite a bit as they are down whole full combos, and Menoji is only on that recovery 100 behind that noob guy, who is not gonna shift the score to Team Indonesia side just because of that accuracy right now.
Just look at those accuracies on the side of Germany. Everybody above 99%. This German team looking very, very comfortable in this number 3, but what they need are the combos. And they are recovering pretty well. Menoji, as I mentioned, Menoji's name, he finds such a massive chain miss. And that is so unfortunate. But the rest of that team does end up holding on. That noob guy's still holding on to the reverse choke though. Missing, I think, literally 10 combo win. So that can pretty much just be counted as an FC at this point. But Blanktap is still in a pretty strong recovery for the side of Indonesia. We are going into the final quarter of the map. There are 3 combos on the side of Germany. They're slowly able to pull the score lead further and further in their favor as Blanktap finds a miss on that recovery. And nobody finding a break on the side of Germany on that... I think it's like kind of square section. The doubles coming in. Stella's the only person finding a break for the side of Germany. But Lydia does also find a break. And it's just Lion holding onto that 600 combo. But I think Germany have done just about enough to get this point home. That noob guy doing all that they can to try and take this FC home. Unfortunately finding a break right at the end. But Germany able to cement their second point and get a footing into this match once again. And ending on some of these stop-start rhythms, and wow, what a map this was. Germany looked so comfortable all throughout on that accuracy. I think ending out, you still had 3 players on above 99. It was only 2, but 99.38, but exact same accuracy. Same 100s and 50s by both Stella and Lion. And you have Menoji and the next 3 lady at both above 98.5 accuracy. So overall, very, very strong from all of these players on the side of Germany. Just so comfortable on this map.
Yeah, that 3-way reset from Germany looked really scary, but the accuracy held the score lead on the right side, and then the combo from Menoji, the unfortunate break from that noob guy at the end of the map. But Team Germany definitely held long enough to deserve this. No more 3-point, and now 4-2. Indonesia on a match point pick. It's still gonna be difficult for Germany, but they only need a breakpoint and a point of their own now. The pool is getting slimmer and slimmer, which will make things difficult for both teams, I'd say. When it comes to picking, you don't have that many good options anymore. And we are heading into No Mod 5, which was one of those maps I was thinking about Indonesia might pick into.
I think the No Mod 5 is a very good pick. Considering what we did see on that Hidden 2 previously, it honestly just feels like a very solid pick. We had just the 4th player on Germany, unfortunately really struggling on the accuracy. But then again, that was Hidden, this is No Mod. Okay, I'm Blue Rat, it's, you know, it's a classic song. You've probably, I believe it is Yolkspy who does have the original set on this. I could be wrong, it could also be Gordon. But yeah, it's, a classic song. If you've been playing tournaments for a while, you should definitely at least have played one of the variations of this map. But I think we'll probably see very similar rosters to what we did see on that Hidden 2 for both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, especially after what we have seen on that Hidden 2, it should be a point to Team Indonesia, but that Hidden 2, this No Mod 5, 2 pretty different maps. This one goes 0.5 AR lower than Hidden 2 with its AR 7.5. You have a lot of stacks, you have a lot of bursts, and I don't know, this map is even trickier than Hidden 2, I'd say, especially when it comes to like rhythm and stuff.
Yeah, this is, I guess, more rhythmically tricky than something like Hidden 2. But I think actually one play that can come in for the side of Indonesia that can make quite a bit of a difference is that noob guy. Someone who is very, very strong with something like this, but maybe just not feeling comfortable in the AR, which is why we might not see them come in on this map. But overall, if it was something like maybe a little bit higher AR, then we could definitely see that noob guy coming in and potentially making a very, very solid difference. Someone who's very, very strong at some more, I guess, uncomfortable maps on that no mod. But for now, we just see Bukit Door, Fuma, 2HD, and Blank Tap for the side of Indonesia. And for Germany, we see Lydia, Stella, Chocolate, and Lion coming in. And I think that is the same roster that we did see for the Hidden 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Oh, the Maccabee switching out for Blank Tap. That's the only difference.
Oh god, okay, the accuracy early into the map, not great for anyone. We see them over 100s, but it will stabilize eventually once we get into the map. We are especially looking at Lion on Team Germany side after that Hidden 2 score. Chocolate finding the first miss for Team Germany on this 2.5 minute long map. And really looking at the accuracy all over the board, you are kinda looking for those combo clusters again. Whoever can hold more combo, maybe hold on to some nice accuracy, but again, the accuracy not the greatest on any one liner with 96, and then the second highest one is 94.3 on Bukador. So accuracy wise, not the greatest map. We see Chocolate finding a miss again. Blank Tap found a miss about 100 combo before. So it could count as a trade so far. The score on Team Indonesia's side, but only by the slightest, even though it is a map like this where the shifting score is pretty difficult even when it's like 50,000 points. With this many huge combos on the board still, one miss can still do a lot.
Yeah, one miss can do a lot, and this is what I was talking. Oh no, Stella found a break! That is such a massive break to find! That is 3 FCs up against only 2, and Chocolate really having a difficult time on this map. Kind of what we saw in the Hidden 2. But it will really just come down to these FCs on the side of Germany. And if any of these breaks, if any of these FCs do break on the side of Indonesia, but they look very comfortable despite the actually being a little lower, they just don't show any signs of letting off. F3HC down at 89%, so if 3HC does try to break, then Germany can still probably bring us back, but Lion finds another break. It's just Lydia and Stella holding on for their dear lives at this point, but I don't know if it will be enough for going into the final quarter of this map. The score lead is further accelerating, it's already at 400,000 points. Indonesia is just holding on so strong to that triple FC, an insane recovery from Blank Tap, and I think this is it. Indonesia will be taking this match 5-2 up against Germany. Germany with a very, very formidable fight, but unfortunately just not about enough to get the win up against Indonesia. 5-2 for the side of Indonesia. Closing out, I believe it is a triple FC on OKM Blue Rat, this number 5. So yeah, GG, well played to both of these teams, but Indonesia coming out on top just about.
Yeah, this Nomad 5 3-way FC from Indonesia, almost a 2-way FC from Germany, as we have seen. Stella on the top right finding an unfortunate slider break right at the end of the map, about 10 combo until FC, so that's really unfortunate. But yeah, Indonesia 3 million team score on this Nomad 5 is pretty solid, if I must say. So they are showing that they are a strong and really scary gimmick team, and they did find their form as the C10 winning 5-2 over seeded 17 Germany. Solid performance for both teams. We have seen some nice scores. Indonesia is finally finding their flow state, and they are still expecting to play one match. I believe that's gonna be tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But for now, that's it from this match, and the next one is gonna start pretty shortly in about 1 hour, I believe. And that's gonna be the match between Malaysia and Hong Kong. Right after that, 13 minutes after, we have a matchup between Ukraine and Norway. So stay tuned for that. But for now, I think that's gonna be it.
Yep, that'll be it from us. I just want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, which are Yobimo and Cider Pals. I really appreciate all of you sponsoring this 4WC tournament. And I think that is it from us now. Make sure you do stay tuned for any future matchups. As mentioned, we do have some matches coming in 1 hour. But thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you very shortly. Goodbye.